Once again, we have our friend wondering, is the results method right for my organization? Is this the right pair of shoes? Let's talk about some pros and cons and refresh your memory on the results method. After this video, you'll be able to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of the results method for measuring results. You'll also be able to define and describe management by objective, or MBO. So let's look at results. Refresh your memory, management by objective, or MBO. Management by objectives is defined as rated against achievements of objectives stated by management, and they should be, as mentioned before, done jointly with the employee to be most effective. They tend to be results focused, and if written well, can be future focused. So they can look at the results of the past year, but as you begin the review process, focus on the future and long-term goals. It's one of the main advantages. Let's look at some of those other advantages. Objectives can easily fit with strategy. When reviewing the corporate and departmental strategies, define objectives for the employee that fit and are alignment with those strategies. They can easily be monitored when well constructed. If they have clear expectations, they're dated with clear points along the way of progress, easily to monitor. But again, must be well constructed. Can be a little less subjective. You can look at these as you're writing these, really write in clear expectations, as I said, clear definition of what success is. They can be used for development and in fact should be. Typically when I've done these in the past, I've always tried to do at least 1 or 2 developmental MBOs for my employees, looking to stretch them and looking to enhance their future development of the company. If I'm only doing the ones for their job only, they tend to stay in place. But if I'm looking to help them get promoted, grow their skills, use MBOs for development purposes. This is one of my favorite advantages of this one. Measure real results based on achieving objectives. The other ones will tend to measure sometimes behaviors or traits. Very important to measure those things, and they do make a difference on how well the employee performs. But this one is the real results and things that we've achieved. This one also can be somewhat motivated because I see that I've achieved something concrete. They provide clear expectations, and my caveat always is, if written well. But the employee should clearly know what's expected, when it's expected. Just a word of caution before we wrap up this lesson. Let's look at some things to think about when using results methods in MBOs. One, MBOs don't necessarily take behaviors into account. When well constructed, you can look at how the employee behaves as well as the what, but you'll have to actively do this. It doesn't lend itself to that. One, doesn't always consider other factors that may play a role. For example, if I was at a project that was due on October 1st, and other priorities came in, pulled me away from it for a month or two, and that wasn't considered in the overall objectives, I would probably not meet that objective, and that would be something that some would consider unfair. When doing MBOs, think about revising them and reviewing them on a regular basis. Requires managers with strong performance skills. To some degree, this is true in any method, but because of the nuancing of MBOs and setting up objectives, monitoring, it requires a lot of management throughout the year. And when tied to rewards, they may focus only on goals for which they're rewarded. So for example, if I'm in sales and I'm rewarded mainly for my sales performance and my sales objectives and goals, and I don't have anything on the service side, you may find that I'm really good at sales, but I tend not to be good at service or interacting with my colleagues. So these are the things to think about when you're doing the results and MBO methods. Many of these can be overcome with good management, but they should be considered when choosing this method.